Hello Flosstube, my name is Amanda. This is my channel about cross stitch. I'm not sure if I remember how to do this because it's been so long. I think my last video was in January when I last checked, so it's been a while. I've actually not been on social media for 3.5 months, around there. I took a long break, a much needed break from social media, and I just kind of recently went back on Instagram pretty sparingly, but I just wanted to kind of reconnect and show you what I've been stitching. I just want to say thank you to people who did reach out to me. I was totally fine, just needed to just unplug for a bit, and I think that's something we all need from time to time. So one of the things that did happen, I guess the beginning of the year, I heavily went back to monogamous stitching. I basically, I was getting a little bit frustrated with my hobby because I had so many whips, and that was not how I usually stitched. I started piling on multiple whips, I think in I want to say 2019, maybe 2018. Before that, I usually only had like 1 or 2 projects on the go. And I think by the beginning of this year, I had like 46 whips. And I was like, this is just crazy. I can't finish all of these things in a reasonable amount of time. So I made the decision just to pick up one thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna work on this till it's done. With the exception of a car project, I can't work on cloth in a car. So I have a perforated paper project when I travel in a car. So that's been another reason, kind of my delay to come back. I just don't have a lot to show. I do now because it's been half a year. But going forward, I'm not really sure how much I'm going to be able to show. I did have a video pop up after I put YouTube back on my phone. I had a video pop up by Cynthia Brew, and I noticed that when I went to her channel, she was like, I think the span between her videos was like 6 months, and I was like, oh, well, I can do that. I can post a video like twice a year. So I'm gonna post this video and show you what I have. I may not be back till the end of the year, but at least I'm sharing what I've stitched, and I'm connecting with the community. So what was the first thing I finished this year? I have 4 finishes for this year. I don't think that's too bad, given that I only get like 20 minutes to stitch every day. Now this is going to be tricky, this one here, because I don't have the back screwed in, so it's kind of falling apart. I have to, there we go, I think it looks okay. So this was my first finish of the year. This was a kit from the Parisian Embroiderers, and the kit came with the floss, the pattern, and then a hanger that goes up at the top. And there was like a garland that was supposed to go around here, and then I think it said Merry Christmas in French. And I had bought this at Christmas time at Home Sense, which I think in the US is the equivalent store is Home Goods. Oh, maybe I should reintroduce. It's been so long. So I already told you my name. I live in Canada, so we don't have the same stores up here as we do in the US. But one of the stores, I think that is the same. I could be wrong. We have Home Sense and Winners in Canada, which I think the equivalent is Home Goods and Marshalls in the US. I'm not sure though. Someone could probably fact check me on that one. Anyways, I got this at Home Sense at Christmas, and it had kind of this, the only thing I can describe it as like a mustard brown. It kind of reminded me of the color of like newborn baby poop. I know that sounds really gross, but that seemed to be the color this Christmas, which just baffled me. I was like, this doesn't look like Christmas at all. So anyways, I didn't find this. My daughter found this fabric when we went to Fabricland, I was over in one section and I was trying to look for this kind of orangey red color in the tree, and I was trying to find velvet, and I was in the velvet section, and I couldn't find anything. I was like, oh, what am I going to do to cover up this yucky brown? And my daughter's like, Mommy, I found an orange red in over here. And she was in the upholstery section. So I was like, okay, I'll go see what she found. And it was perfect. She found the perfect color. So this is, I have to fix this. So the problem that I did use the fabric in the kit, but it's so small. I had to work so hard at stretching it so that it would fit in this frame. So it's a little bit kind of puckered a little bit, but never know. I'm going to fix it. And so yeah, this was from Parisian Embroiderers. I'm not going to try and say the French name of it, but if you go, it's Les Produits Parisiens. I'm not very good at French. So that was my first finish of the year. Where can I put this? I didn't think this through where I'm going to stock stuff. Okay. So yeah, with going back to monogamous stitching, I haven't started anything this year. That's a lie. I started one thing, but I finished that one thing. So I don't think that really counts. So my second finish of the year was this stocking from Dimensions. This is just a regular Dimensions stocking. It's not a Dimensions Gold. And it's called Christmas Traditions, I believe. Christmas Traditions stocking. And you can get this as a picture too if you're not into stockings. But I had started this at Christmas break, and I pretty much finished it up by just before beginning of March, I think. So and this was my husband's stocking. So now we all have a stocking, and it's really cute. I chose this one because there's a picture of my husband and his brother and their dog Amber that looks just like this dog in the fields cutting down trees with their dad. Not Christmas trees, just clearing brush, and they're in their winter coats. And they both are kind of wearing not similar color hats, but similar color coats with their dad. And they grew up living in the country, so I just thought this was kind of a fitting piece for them. And then I just did the quilted back. And the one thing I did do with the stocking, which I really liked, I added a lining. I don't normally add linings to my stocking. And I liked it so much that I went back to all my other stockings and I put linings in them. So all I did was I cut out a shape, the shape of the stocking, and I sewed the two sides together. I just used broadcloth. I didn't use anything fancy. And then I stuffed the stocking in with like the seam of the liner facing the wrong side of the stocking, folded it over, and then I did a ladder stitch around on the inside. That's how I did it after the fact. So there's that. So that's my stocking. And then my next finish was this ornament for my son. So I made this ornament a few years ago for my daughter, and it's a Lori Birmingham pattern called, I think it's Jingle Pals 1, because there's a Jingle Pals 2 and it's mittens. And so I was taking this off the tree, or putting this on the tree this year, and my son said to me, he's like, where's my cute ornament? Because it has her name on it. So this was like definitely a priority this year, because I didn't want him asking me next year where his cute ornament was. So I just backed it with velvet. And this one, I don't know if you can see, I didn't put the edges tight to, the shape I cut out was a bit too big. I should have cut it more. So basically what I did, I took a photocopy of my finished piece, and then I cut around it, and then I used it to trace mapboard. But instead of cutting on the line, I should have maybe cut just like slightly inside of the line, and then it would have probably been closer to this side, because it is a bit bigger than this one, even though they're the same dimensions. But anyways, it's cute. Now he has his cute ornament. And there's 4 patterns to this. There's 4 stocking patterns to this series, and then there's 4 mittens. I haven't stitched any of the mittens, but we'll get there. And then my last finish I have to show you is, this was my start and finish of the year. And I started this with Catherine Needleberry Stitcher. She's stitched, I think, like 4 or 5 of them so far this year. And this is one of the Christmas Eve couriers from Nora Corbett. And this one is, oh shoot, which one is this one? I think it's either Dasher or Dancer. I think it's Dancer. Anyways, it's one of the D ones. And I just basically cut a shape out on my Cricut, 2 pieces of mat board, and then I backed it with foam, and this is like a felt, suede felt. I put the hanger because I want to hang it on the wall with the other ones when I get the other ones finished. And then I cut out another piece of mat board on my Cricut with the dimensions that gave me just like, I think this is like a 1/4 inch border from the border to the end. And all I have to say is you need to finish something with the border, you need pins, stitchery tape, and a lot of patience. A lot of patience. So this was as straight as what I could get it, but I think it looks pretty good. But finishing things with borders is like not my most favorite thing to do. And then what I did was, this is a floral pin here. Do I have an example? Yes, I do. Right here. You can get them on Amazon, but it's basically like a bridal floral pin, and they stick them down the center of the flowers to make them sparkly. So I just like bent it a bit, and then I used it to kind of hold my bow in, and then I used 2 little pins just to kind of keep it, like kind of drape it. Now I like using pins on all my ornaments. I don't glue them because over the years, as they got kind of shabby, which I've had with a couple of my ornaments, I just pop the pin out of the middle of the bow, and then I just make a new one and put it on. But if you glue it, then you kind of wreck your ornament when you want to change it. And then someone asked me how I made this cording. I did not make this cording at all. This is just from a fabric store. It's nylon cording that's like already made. And the same with this. I got this cording on Amazon. And then you can get this cording on Amazon too, but they didn't have, in this size, they didn't have like a silver color. So I just got this at the fabric store. And then it'll just hang like that. And yeah, it's very sparkly. He's very, very sparkly. So there's that one. So those are my finishes. And then I have 2 whips. And then I also have 2 other crafts that are needlework related that I want to show you that I did start this year, because they weren't cross stitch. They weren't. And I haven't really focused a lot on them this year. But the one other, oh, that's the wrong one. I brought the wrong folder down. Okay, hold please. Okay, I am back. I lied. I have 2 perforated projects for the car that I'll show you. One of them's almost done. Actually, both of them are almost kind of done. So this is the one I've been working on most of the year. Do I have the finished picture here? Yes, I do. This is from Brooks Books, and it is called 2007 Spirit of Christmas Angel Dimensional Ornament. And sadly, these patterns are no longer available. After Brooke passed away, they shut down her shop because I don't think they have, I don't know, I think it's something to do with like the licensing rights to her patterns. So I don't know if these will ever be made available again. So this is what I have done. So the girl is almost done. Her face looks creepy because I haven't done the facial features, but I've started beading, and her dress and this part of the garland is almost done, but the back, yeah, I still have to do the back stitching, and I have to do, what do I have to do? The wings. So if we go back here, I have to do the wings. I haven't started those yet, and I have to do this part of the garland and the heart, but I have my gold paper cut out for that. Now I will say I had a really hard time finding Krynic for the call for Kreinik for this piece, but all I used was for like the white, because it called for, I think it's 032, which is like impossible to find these days. It needed 3 spools of Kreinik 032, which is like, yeah, no, there's no way I'm going to be able to find 3 spools. So I just used the DMC light effects. It worked fine, and I tweeted it with the white. So I didn't use the light effects 100%. I would tweet it with another color, because it was the white light effects was, I think, a little bit too stark. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of sparkly. Anyway, so that's that one. Oh, and I got this frame from Wonderland, Ukraine, and I had them custom make the size for me so it would fit my Brooks Books pieces. Because my goal is to do one per year. Okay, so there's that one. And then my next perforated project that I'm working on, which I have not finished yet. He's almost done though. Is this one here. It's a kit from Satsuma Street, puppy present. And I have the one with the cat in the mitten. And I'm almost done him. Almost, not quite there. So I love perforated paper projects. I always thought, I always was like, I don't really like perforated paper. And then I like questioned why I didn't like it, because I had never tried it. And I picked it up and I tried it and I ended up loving it. So okay, so that one. Okay, so those are my 2 perforated paper projects. And then my only other project that I've worked on, I want to say for the past couple months, is this project here. I will disclaimer, I bought this kit on eBay from a seller in Lithuania. And I know there's a ton of kits like in Eastern Europe that like don't get distributed over here. So when I saw it, I was like, I assumed it was one of those random, Ukrainian or Russian kits that you just couldn't get over here. And when I got it, I kind of questioned whether it was like a legitimately licensed kit. So then I kind of did more research and I found the pattern on Heaven and Earth Designs. And then I actually ended up finding the actual designer of this, because this is not like a pixelated picture. This is actually designed for cross stitch. The person who actually did the pattern that this is based off of. But they're no longer available anymore. I don't know about the Heaven and Earth Design pattern, because I bought that one and then I got the other one. But that other one is not available anymore. I have no idea about the kit. That was the first time I saw the kit and I haven't seen it since. So my disclaimer is I don't know how easily this will be to find. So this is, I just call this Santa and Kids on a Horse. And I forget the artist who this is based off of. Do I have the pattern in my project bag? I don't. I'm sorry. I can't really give you a whole lot of information on this. But this is, I didn't bring the picture because you can obviously see what it looks like because it's almost done. But beginning of the year, I only had from maybe here over. And then I've completed the whole body of the horse and the horse's head. I still have a bit more to do on the horse's head, actually. And then I have hundreds and hundreds of snowflakes. These snowflakes here I have to put all through the sky, all around the front of the horse. I think the border goes here, but it's all up here. There's hundreds of them. And I'm pin stitching them all because I don't want to be able to see the line of white going to all the stitches. So that's going to take some time. But that was about when did I start working? I finished my stocking in March, middle of March. So I've been working on this since middle of March as kind of like a monogamous stitch. And this is 64,000 stitches. I was able to put, the other thing I've started using is Markup XP, and I love it. I love it. I was having such a hard time seeing my patterns, and now I can like zoom in, I can highlight, I can mark off what I've done, and then I can see how many stitches I have left to complete. So that's been really awesome. But this one is 64,000 stitches, and I didn't quite have half of it complete. So I think since middle of March, I've done like 30 plus thousand stitches, plus the back. Some I haven't done all the back stitching. I've done basically the mane here, and I've done the boy's face. Like you see the girl, she looks like a little bit creepy, and the boy looked just as creepy, but he looks better now that the back stitching is in. And I've done some back stitching down here. Yeah, so I love this piece. This is up there with one of my favorites. I wanted to make this a priority this year because it's on dark fabric. It's 28 count. I guess like Lugana. It's not a, yeah, it's like an even weave. But it's really hard to see. I kind of feel more than see the fabric now. Like I just kind of know by feeling, and also looking relationally to the stitch beside to know if I've actually gone over 2 holes or if I've gone over too many or not enough. So, because I've caught myself a few times, I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right, or that doesn't look right in relation to the stitch beside it. But actually seeing the holes, I can't really see the holes very well. And I've tried the whole light thing underneath, and I just, yeah. So yeah, this was a priority while my eyes can still relatively see. So yeah, Santa and 2 Kids on a Horse. I don't know if that's what the name of it is. It's just what I'm calling it. So there's that one there. So those are my whips and my finishes. I'm going to show you the 2 other needlecraft like projects that I did start this year. This one was earlier in the year. Again, I was kind of testing it out to see if these would be good car projects. And this one, I also kind of have these in my stash, and I wanted to get them started because they're pretty quick to do. I've done these types of projects in the, well, this kind of project in the past, and they're pretty quick. But this is a felt kit from Mary Stockings. It's called Hello Bear. So it's called Hello Bear. I think they're all called Hello Bear. Anyways, it's from Mary Stockings. It's their bear series. And it's basically, you get this pre-printed felt. So I've done, so if you look at the instructions, there's step-by-step instructions here of all the things you're supposed to do and what kind of embroidery stitch, and you tick it off as you do it. And then, so I'm on the step of doing chain stitching on the sweater. There's this guy here. I know, not much to look at, but it's just something I've been working on here and there. And you don't need good lighting. You don't need, it's okay in the car. I still prefer the perforated paper, but anyways, it'll get done eventually. And then what was the other? Oh, here it is. And then I started my first needlepoint project. So I started this kit here. It's called Snowman and Kitty's Stocking. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I actually really, really, really like needlepoint. I was surprised. And I mean, I don't have a lot done on this, but now I will recommend, it says to put it in a roller frame. And I thought, I didn't have I have a big almanac scroll frame that was too big for this. I tried putting it on and it didn't work. So I tried stitching this in hand, and I was like, just like poke and stab method. And I was like, this is too cumbersome. So I ended up getting this frame on Amazon for I think it was like $30. It wasn't terribly expensive. And I can say I noticed the stitches that I did in hand versus the stitches when it's stretched on the frame. The stitches that are, I don't know if you can see these puffier stitches, these are the ones I did in hand, and these ones here are the ones that I did in the frame. And I can say that the stitches that I did in the frame are much neater and much more even. So this here was, I was practicing the basket weave stitch here. And then these stitches over here are the continental stitch. And the continental stitch is very similar to the like a half stitch, except instead of bringing your, it's going to be difficult to explain, bringing your thread up through one, going down cross diagonal down the other, and then going to the next stitch at the top right beside, you're actually crossing over on the back. So it's actually, can I show you on this? No, I can't. You're being less efficient with your thread, but it makes your threads look much more even and it doesn't warp the canvas. That's why you do the continental stitch as opposed to just a half stitch like you would do in cross stitch. I don't know if I explained that very well, but anyways, there's I just have a little bit of his scarf done and a little bit of snow because I wanted to try the basket weave stitch. I've never done that one before, that type of stitch before. Anyways, it's really fun. Sorry, I have cats getting into mischief right now. And that's it. That's all of my whips that I have to show you. This year too, I've been really restrained. Not being on social media, I'm not really seeing a lot of like cross stitching things because that's what I like to look at on social media. So I haven't really bought a ton this year. I haven't hardly bought anything. I did get, just looking here. Oh, before I get to that, I'm going to talk about my plans. So my plans are to finish the Santa on a Horse. And then I'm going to go back to my Christmas Village. I was, again, this year very disappointed by the Christmas Village release. I was waiting. I kind of held off on that project, waiting to see what the release was going to be. And it turned out it's like a repeat of, I think, the toy shop, the bookseller, and I think the general store or the hardware store, one of those, with like a big Christmas tree in the center. So it's not even like scaled. Doesn't even scale properly to the other houses in the series. So I was like, okay, I can't use that. I don't want to like delay this project another year to see what they'll release next year. And they may not even release anything next year because they didn't release anything for that series last year. So what I did was, and I guess this is kind of part of my purchases too, I bought this kit here. This was very hard to find. I could not find the fabric shop. This is part of the Main Street series. And as you can see, it's really like springy and spring colors. So I bought a subscription to Stitch Fiddle, which is like a charting, it's a web-based like charting software. And I recharted this in different colors. And if I can, I'll insert a picture of it. I'll have to be careful because I don't want to like show the pattern, but I'll insert a picture of it. I've changed all these colors to be kind of the more teal, red, and like greens. I did put a bit of purples in so I could use this button. It comes with this button here. And then I put like Christmas tree. I put a Christmas tree here, and I kind of put shrubs here with lights and gold in it, and then another Christmas tree here. And then I kind of I removed all of this in the background. I put a bit of snow on the roof to make it look Christmassy. And then my mother-in-law is like a beautiful quilter. She's like an amazing quilter. So I've gone back and I've personalized, or I have plans to personalize some of the houses to reflect like people in my family. And this one I put Hope's, her name is Hope. So I put Hope's Quilts here. So I redesigned that one. And if I can, I'll put a picture in. And then this one here, I couldn't find the, like I have the pattern here. This is the, like the, I don't know how the pattern, but this is the pet store. And is it called? Yeah, it's the Main Street series. And what I did was I made that Christmassy as well. There's like awning in that, again, I'll put a picture in. There's awning on the pet store, and it was very like patriotic blue, which was a little bit too summery. So I toned that down. I used a different kind of blue that kind of ties more with the other houses on the piece. And what else did I do? There's cats in the window. I put 3 cats instead of 2, and I made them orange because and then I have a little orange and white button to go on the front instead of using the dog, because in the original they have like a little dog button. And I did that to kind of represent my boys, because I have 3 orange brothers, and then I have an older cat. He's orange and white. His name is Lucky. His name is Lucky Chance, hence the name of my channel. And then what else did I do? I added snow and Christmassy bushes, and I put a Christmas wreath on the door, and I put snow on the roof. Like, I made it just look Christmassy. So I'm going to start that after I'm done my Santa piece. I'm going to go back to working on that because I have the physician's house that I'm working on, which I started, and then I just have these last 2 houses, and then I do have to go back and do some back stitching, and then I have to bead the whole thing. And oh, and the border. I finished the border this year. I didn't bring it to show my Christmas village, but I'll show it when I start working on it. So yeah, that's my plan. Those were a couple of my purchases. And then other than that, I really haven't bought anything this year. I've been really restrained on like my buying. So that's been kind of maybe another good thing about not being on social media or on my phone or whatever. Is not really seeing or watching Flosstube. I really haven't watched Flosstube. I think the first Flosstube video I watched in months was a week and a half ago. I watched the Hugo Stitcher. I watched her Christmas whip parade. Even kind of before I took a break from social media, I just wasn't watching very much Flosstube. I just, mainly because of time. Like, people talk about winning the lottery. I'm like, if there was like a time lottery, I would totally buy a ticket for that, because like, there's just not enough hours in the day. There really isn't. So I haven't really been watching a lot of Flosstube. So if you guys have any suggestions on Flosstubes to watch that are new, that have come out this year, again, if I find time to watch it. But yeah, my only time to really watch Flosstube is in the evening, and I'm usually watching stuff with my husband. So anyways, I'm kind of rambling about that. So where was I going? Yeah, so I haven't been buying stuff. I have 3 things here. I know I bought a few other things, but I couldn't, I put them away and I don't know where they are. So, but I'll show you 3 things. And I want to show you a really special gift I got for my birthday. I have wanted this kit since I saw Luda stitch this. It's beautiful. If you have not seen cross stitching with Luda, I know she doesn't make as many videos as what she used to make, but she finished this, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, and it's stunning. And I've always wanted this kit, and it's out of print. And my friend Catherine, she's Needleberry Stitcher on Instagram. She found this kit for me and bought it for me, gave it to me for my birthday. So love this kit. She's a dear, dear, sweet friend. And I'll always cherish the kit, but I'll cherish my friendship with her even more. So I got that for my birthday. And then what else? This is another birthday present. I got this from my dad. And this is, all my cats are congregating because it's lunchtime and they want food. So hear meowing. So I got this kit for my dad for my birthday. And I really like the Marushka kits. This is on Ada, yeah. Because everything is like pre-sorted on bobbins. There's that one. What is it called? Did I say what it was called? It's called Santa's Helper. This very much looks like my cat Benny. And then because I kind of liked needlework, I was just looking on eBay one day to see like what kind of needlework kits were out. And I found this one. And I love bears. And like it was 30 bucks. I was like, wow, I didn't realize needlepoint kits were that cheap. But yeah, it was like 30. I had plus shipping. There was shipping. But what is it called? It's called Polar Bear Joy by Allison Edgson. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But yeah, it came with all the wool and everything. I will say the one thing I did notice with using the wool, because what you do is you actually pull the strands of wool apart. Because you use 2 strands. I think there's 4 strands in a strand and you use 2. Sometimes you use 3. I found I had to cut it in half because if I used the whole strand, by the time I was like to the end, it was starting to get like really fuzzy. But anyways, I got that one. And then the last thing I have to show you that I bought is this So if you've watched me in the past, you know I like retro cross stitch. I actually prefer retro cross stitch well over all the fancy new things that are out currently. I know a lot of people are the opposite. But I found this book. It's from Cross My Heart, and it's called Celebrate Children. And I don't know what year it is. 1994. Yes, this is right up my alley. This one here. And I got it for this piece here. This one here. It says, a mother holds her children's hands for a while and their hearts forever. But the reason I love this is, again, if you know me, you know I have 4 cats and they're all orange. And I also have a son and a daughter, and my daughter is older than my son. So I always like patterns where the daughter kind of looks a little bit older, either through like height or whatever. But she's a little bit taller than the boy. And it's orange cats. Isn't that the cutest thing? I mean, their eyes look a little bit freaky, but I don't care. I still love that their eyes look freaky. I would still stitch this. I'm actually going to stitch this. Anyways, love that. I wasn't too fussed about like the other patterns in the book. I thought they were kind of, I don't know. Some of the sayings were kind of like a little bit like, I don't know. I'm not going to read them. And that's rude. If you've stitched something out of this book and I just did this because like, anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. They're lovely. I'm sure your finished piece would look lovely. Anyways, that's that. That's it. That's all I have to show you. And we're 36 minutes. So yeah, I don't know when I'll be back. I may be back in 2 months. I may be back in 6 months. I may be back in a year. I have no idea. It's all based on how much I have to show. I try to keep my videos at like 40 minutes. So yeah, who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna go. It's lunchtime. I have someone asking me for their lunch at my feet. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.